Hello everyone and welcome to Re-Engineer You, the #1 show in the fight against obesity, and I am your host, Cameron Makarchuk, and I want to talk to you guys today about something, kind of a very broad thing, something that's very broad, very general, but that people just seem to have a hard time following it, and they don't seem to take the time and the effort necessary to really put this into action and really focus on it. Last weekend, we had at my private studio here, we're doing a Rock Your Jeans transformation challenge where we're helping people drop 1 to 2 pant sizes over the next 8 weeks. And so with that, we do these focus groups on Saturdays. And so everyone in the challenge comes together on Saturdays at my studio, and I'm there, and we talk about kind of what people are going to focus on for the following week coming up to get people re-energized, re-motivated, refocused on what they need to do to get into their jeans. One thing, that's all they need to focus on, just one thing each week that's going to have the biggest impact on getting into your jeans. And so we had our very first focus group last Saturday, and so one of the things that we talked about, one of the overriding themes, one of the big takeaways was to make sure that we're focusing on the big picture. Make sure we're focusing on the big things before we start worrying about the small things. And what I mean by that is focusing on making sure, make sure the big things are in check first. Make sure your food quality is good first, and then start looking at the numbers. Okay, so I told everyone there's about 90% of the people that were there, I don't even want them focusing on any of the numbers. I don't want them focusing on calories or fats or how much fat they're getting, how many grams of protein they're getting, none of that. All I want them to do is focus on the foods that they're eating. So, making sure there's protein with every meal, some sort of high quality protein source with every meal, making sure there's some sort of vegetable source with every meal, making sure there's some sort of good healthy fat source with every meal, and focusing on those 3 things along with keeping the starchy carbohydrates, so things like sweet potatoes, yams, squash, beets, maybe some rice every once in a while, things like that, keeping those things at a minimum and only post-workout. So only for a meal that you're going to have, your first meal post-workout, after you work out, you can have those foods. So focusing on those 4 things, not even worrying about any of the numbers, how many calories you're getting, how many grams of fat you're getting, don't worry about any of that stuff. Just focus on the big, broad things like protein every meal, healthy fats, vegetables, limiting your starchy carbohydrates to your first meal after workout. And if you were just to focus on those 3 things for the next, couple months, then you would see a drastic increase, because I can almost guarantee that a lot of you guys watching this video aren't focusing on those, or don't have those things in a nice little, wrapped up in a nice little box quite yet on a consistent basis. You have them, some days you do, some days you don't, some days you do, but until you get them wrapped up in a nice little box and you have them wrapped up consistently on a consistent day-by-day basis, then you can start looking at the numbers, and then you can start dialing things in a little bit more and tweaking things a little bit more and looking at how many grams of protein you're getting, how many grams of carbohydrates you're getting, how many calories you're getting, things like that. But oftentimes, this over here, the big picture stuff, the big broad stuff, that's going to be enough for you to see some noticeable changes in your body and in your diet and in your lifestyle. So focus on those first. That's kind of level 1, and then before you move into the finer details, because oftentimes people will get stressed out by how many calories they're eating. They get stressed out focusing on, well, I got to get 120 grams of protein, or I can't eat more than 57 grams of carbohydrates, or something like that. And it's not worth it to stress on that, because the stress that you're going to feel from that is worse than getting too much of that. You know what I mean? So focus on the big broad picture stuff first. Do that for I would say a month, 2 months, however long it takes to have you have that wrapped up in a nice little ball and being consistent with that on a daily basis, and then move into level 2, then move into the next step, then move into thinking about how many calories am I getting, how many grams of carbohydrates, how many grams of protein am I getting. Then you can move into that, level 2, okay? So the big takeaway from this, what I want you guys to do today is focus on the big stuff, obviously. Are you getting protein with every meal? High quality protein, animal source protein with every meal. Are you getting vegetables with every meal? Are you getting good fats with every meal, avocados, nuts, seeds, good oils, coconut oil, flaxseed oil, things like that, wild-caught fish. Are you getting that with every meal that you're eating? Are you keeping your starchy carbohydrates to a minimum? Are you keeping them for your first meal post-workout only? Okay, things like yams, sweet potatoes, spaghetti squash, acorn squash, any kind of squash, rice, things like that. Are you keeping those for your first meal post-workout only? Okay, focus on those 4 things and just take one at a time. Take one each week and focus on those 4 things throughout the next month. And then you can start thinking about level 2. Okay, so as always, if you guys like this video and you got a lot out of it, please click the like, tweet, +1, comment buttons below. I always like interacting with you guys in the comments on reengineeryou.com and seeing what you guys have to say and interacting with you guys on that, getting your feedback on all of this. So please do that. Get this out there to the world. Show people how easy it is to eat healthy. Show people that it's not a scary thing. You don't have to restrict. You don't have to do any of those crazy things. Just focusing on the big, broad, not scary things first before you start getting into the numbers. Okay? And if you like my free report on the 3 secrets to massive weight loss, then just head to reengineeryou.com and you can grab that for free right today.